Learning Islam from Scratch, Episode 26. Why are there dots and signs in the Quran? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is Haira and this is my journey learning Islam from scratch. Bappa, I was looking at an old manuscript of the Quran online today, and I have to be honest, I couldn't read a single word. It looked like just a bunch of curvy lines. The Quran at home has all these little dots above the letters and colored signs to tell me when to stretch a sound or when to stop. But the ancient ones, it didn't have any of that. If the Quran is perfectly preserved, why does the old version look so different from mine? Did we add things to the text later on?
Walaikum salam, Haira. That's a brilliant observation. It's one of those things that can look confusing until you realize the difference between the message and the map. Think of it's like a GPS. The city and the road stay the same, but the map we use to find our way has evolved from paper to the 3D digital screen. The roads, the words of Quran, never changed. The signs we used to navigate them were added later to help the people like you and me.
So the original Sahaba didn't need the dots? How did they know the difference between a ba and a ta? They look exactly the same without the dots.
You are right. In the old script, a ba, a ta, and sa were just a simple like a U shape. But remember, the Arabs of that time didn't read the Quran primarily from the page. They read it from their memory. Because they knew the language so deeply, they couldn't tell from the context what the word was. It's like if I wrote the letter or D together in a sentence about a car, you would know it's a road. If I wrote it in a sentence about a book, you would know it's a read.
Ah, I see. But as Islam spread to people like me, who aren't native Arabs, it must have become impossible to guess.
Exactly. As the years went by, scholars realized the people were starting to make mistakes. So, about 100 years after the Prophet ﷺ, they started adding the dots, which is nukta, to distinguish between the letters. Later, they added the vowel marks, the fatha, kasra, and dhamma. This is to show us how to pronounce the vowels. It was an act of service to the Quran. They weren't changing the words. At the same time, they were just lighting the lamps so we wouldn't trip over the pronunciations.
That makes me feel much better. It's like they were adding subtitles to help us understand. But what about the other markings? Like the divisions into 30 juz or the ruku and sajda signs? Were those from Allah too?
And no, those are also human maps. The Quran was revealed in 114 surahs, which is chapters. But the division into 30 equal parts, which is called the juzu, was done later by the scholars for convenience. They wanted to make it easy for a person to finish the whole Quran in 1 month by reading one part a day. Sometimes these divisions happens right in the middle of the sentence or a story because they were looking at a total word count, not necessarily the flow of the meaning.
That explains why sometimes a juz starts with a half sentence. I always thought that was quite strange.
It's a bit like dividing a long novel into exact 30 segments of 10 pages each. Sometimes a segment might end right as a character is speaking. It's a helpful tool for organization, but it's important to remember that these divisions aren't part of the divine revelation. They are there to help us to manage our reading and our prayers.
So, Bapa, where is the boundary? How do we know what is from Allah and what is from the scholars?
Very simple. The letters and the words are from Allah. They are immutable. The dots and vowels are the accepted keys to read those words correctly. And the juzu and ruku are the management tools. It's beautiful partnership. Allah gave us the truth, and the scholars over 1400 years gave us the tools to keep the truth accessible to every person on the earth, no matter what language they speak.
It makes me appreciate the scholars so much more. They spent their whole lives just making sure a girl in Singapore could read the Quran correctly in 2026.
Truly, it's a legacy of love. They didn't want the message to be for a closed club of Arabs. They wanted it to be a cure for all the humanity.
This is Haira, and this is my journey learning Islam from scratch. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.